Welcome to the Fantasy Football Goon podcast. This is our Week 1 preview. Joining me as always is my buddy John Santucci. What's going on, Tooch?
Hey, Joe. Just happy to be talking fantasy football again.
Yeah, let's try this one more time. I know the one we did last night, the file got corrupted, so let's knock on wood that this doesn't happen again.
Take two.
Take two, that's right, man. And I figure we should probably lead off with probably the biggest news in fantasy football right now. And Zeke Elliott granted a temporary restraining order, which means he's likely to play the full season.
Yeah, and that's huge because all the people who, waited off, just because they thought he might not be available and got him in the third round or second round, they're dancing. Of course, in our league, someone had the first pick. They took David Johnson and came around on the turnaround in the snake draft and picked up Ezekiel Elliott. So now they have both Johnson and Elliott.
Yeah, that's a pretty scary combo right there. But
yeah, it's really scary, when you start out. But anything can happen in a season. So we just have to let the games play out.
Yeah, we're gonna have to work hard to beat them with that combo. But we both have pretty good teams, so I'm not too worried about that.
Yeah, I was looking. There's a couple other folks that have decent teams, and I'll tell you. The same thing happened with Mike Evans. If you went back and looked at our draft, one of our opponents' league mates took A.J. Green, then came back and took Mike Evans later. So he's got A.J. Green and Mike Evans.
That's pretty good, especially considering we're a PPR.
Yeah, exactly. So you and I kind of went different routes, ended up sniping each other a few times, and now we are trying to see where we're going to go. But good news after that Thursday night game for both of us.
Yeah, I mean, I had Kareem Hunt, and you had your guy, Tyreek Hill, and Kareem Hunt. Holy smokes.
Yeah, Kareem Hunt, he just went nuts. We didn't know what he was going to be before the season. And it looks like, Spencer Ware never was really going to be the starter for very long. Kareem Hunt, owners who took him, in the last half of the draft are, they're celebrating.
Hell, I'm celebrating, and I got him in the third round.
Yeah, again, you sniped me there, and I end up having to settle on Dalvin Cook. And we'll see how that works out.
Well, it's not so bad either. I think that he's going to do well.
Yeah, not a bad pick there either. We'll see how he looks, but I'll have to revise my pick for Kansas City not winning that division now. The weapons are just incredible on Kansas City now, Joe. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, they really are. Alex Smith looked like a top 5 quarterback in that game.
Yeah, he looked reborn, that's for sure. He has, good running game now, and he has good wide receiver weapons. And his arm looked pretty strong last night.
It did. He had some deep throws.
I think Kansas City is the one team to beat after last night. Although they did have an injury on defense that's going to affect their defense. They lost one of the captains of their team, Hart, when Eric Berry went down.
Yeah, what, 5-time Pro Bowler or something like that?
Yeah, and he really shut down Gronkowski, and we've seen him shut down Gronkowski before. It's just unfortunate for the Kansas City this season that they'll be without Eric Berry. It looks like Achilles injury.
Yeah, ruptured Achilles. I mean, that's a season ender. And
did they announce him out for the season already?
Yep, he's officially out with a ruptured Achilles. So that's a rough injury right there.
We're going to be talking about that Kansas City offense a lot, like the other powerhouse offenses in the NFL. I think this year, I think that they're going to, they really. There's three legit guys you have to worry about now in that offense.
Yeah, and we're going to be watching them all year long. I think the other big takeaway from that game is obviously we talked about Kansas City.
The Patriots defense had a little bit of an off night.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Especially after Dante Hightower went down, they had no answer for Kareem Hunt. I still think. I don't think New England's defense will be as good as it was last year, but I still think New England will be okay. They're still a playoff team. I don't see any chance of any of the other two teams. Maybe Miami giving them a little bit of trouble, but they're still going to be a playoff team.
Yeah.
What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, I think they're definitely a playoff team, and we've seen this before. Patriots get knocked around, and then all of a sudden they turn into just an absolute powerhouse.
Yeah, like last night you saw they're kind of banged up at wide receiver, and that's really affecting them. They lost 2 players before the season at wideout, and Julian Edelman loss was huge. They really felt it last night. Amendola did his best to kind of fill in there, but they missed him. And of course, Malcolm Mitchell also went down, so their depth is challenged.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but Amendola looks to be a pretty good fantasy player this season.
Yeah, 100 yards on 6 catches. Did good for me in my daily fantasy league. I got a daily league where I started Amendola and Kareem Hunt, so I'm looking pretty good this week.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully you get some big games out of the rest of the guys and can cash in.
Well, I mean, I've got Julio and I've got Antonio Brown in that one too.
Antonio, I think, right?
Yeah.
That's a pretty good lineup.
So we'll see what happens there. Maybe we'll be talking some money at the end of the week. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. How about your post draft? How do you like your team so far?
I'm a big fan of my team. I know it's only week 1 of the season, and it's hard to really gauge yourself. But I like my team a lot. I think that Kareem Hunt pick could be a game changer for me, along with Julio Jones and Amari Cooper. So Yahoo didn't like it as much as me, though. They gave me a C+.
How does Yahoo like our teams?
Well, they gave me a C+, and I couldn't agree less.
Yeah, I got a C. So, but I still like my team. I got sniped a bunch of times. I missed out on some of my targets, and I got left out of the tight end run. But I ended up with Hunter Henry, and I'm okay with that for now.
Yeah, and we noticed last night someone dropped Jason Witten, so you got an option out there on the waiver wire as well. Yeah,
I do like Witten this year. He just seems to be getting better with age. He just knows how to get open still. I know he's at the tail end of his career, but on a fill-in or streaming tight end, he can do a lot worse than Jason Witten.
Oh, definitely, and Dak uses him as a security blanket, so...
Yeah, I just like Hunter Henry this week. Just those cornerbacks on Denver are really good, and I just think the only place Phillip Rivers is going to have to go will be the tight end, in the middle of the field. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think tight end will get open, and then I expect Keenan Allen to still get his catches. So
the volume is there for Allen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's gonna put up the yardage, but he's gonna get you catches in a PPR league.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's going to be a low-scoring game.
Agreed.
I know. I think the over/under is 41 or 43. So the Sharps don't expect it to be high-scoring either, and I don't either.
I'm on board with that. Those are two defenses that are.
Run through some games.
Yeah. Let's do that. Real quick update on something we talked about a few minutes ago. Dante Hightower, we got some news about his injury. It looks like he's believed to have a minor MCL sprain, and with a long break until their game next week, it looks like Dante Hightower's injury is minor.
Okay.
He's expected to play week 2, and if not week 2,
that's good news for the Patriots.
Yeah, he should definitely be back soon, hopefully. So, with that said, let's move into some of the games for this week. We'll do a quick hits on these games, a little bit of who we should start and who we're looking at. So Bills-Jets. Obviously, you and I don't like the Jets too much, but we think Shady McCoy will probably have a big game against this Jets defense.
Yeah, both these teams seem to be tanking. This season, the Bills pretty much traded away a lot of their offense. They're going to run LaShawn McCoy until his legs fall off. So you're gonna be starting LaShawn McCoy every week, and he's gonna do great. I think this year. The Jets. I mean, there's nobody really on that team I like other than Bilal Powell. I ended up taking him as a third running back just because I think he's going to get a lot of volume. He's still splitting time with Matt Forte, but I just think Matt Forte is on his way out there.
Yeah, they're gonna trade him by midseason.
Yeah, Bilal Powell's a better player in any case, and if the Jets want to make any game respectable, they're going to feed Bilal Powell.
Yep. Yeah. So
I only other player on the Bills maybe is I like Charles Clay this week. I just think he's going to get just catches across the middle. With the wideout shortage on Buffalo and Tyrod Taylor coming back from injury, we're looking for a safe throw.
Yeah, I think
aside from LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah, I think Zay Jones has a big week too against that Jets D. It's a really sneaky PPR play. Weekly fantasy league, Zay Jones is kind of cheap on the salary cap, so that could be a quality pickup for you there.
Yeah, I forgot about him. Sorry. Yeah, that's also a good play. I targeted him in the draft, didn't get him. I think you ended up with him, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so I got sniped there again. But I ended up getting Ted Ginn and John Brown, and I feel pretty good about those two guys.
Yeah, you should. I mean, those are quality bench guys for sure.
Yeah. My ended up with Tyreek Hill as my number 2, and I was really kind of uncertain about that before last night. But after last night, I feel a lot better, just because of the great game he had and the 5 straight games with 65-plus yard touchdown. And he was running the ball, and he was also went back to return to kick once or twice. I don't remember, but Tyreek Hill he had 8 targets. So I like that a lot. That's over 100 targets a year.
Yeah, that'll work. Let's move into our next matchup here. You got the Panthers visiting the 49ers. Cam Newton making his debut this year. I mean, he's only threw like 3 passes in the preseason. I think he might be a little rusty in this game.
Right. And, last year the 49ers gave up the most fantasy points to running backs. So I look for Christian McCaffrey and Jonathan Stewart to get plenty of action and do well this week.
Yep, I'm on board with that too. And then on the 49ers, a guy you got to watch out for is Pierre Garçon. I think he's going to be a huge fantasy target this year. Probably going to put up way more points than anybody expects. So if you have Pierre Garçon, I would get him in your lineup.
Yeah, I targeted him too, didn't get him. He's going to be a target monster again. He's great in the red zone. This year, this is a good matchup for him too. The Panthers cornerbacks are not good. They're slow. Him and Marquise Goodwin. You haven't seen Marquise Goodwin maybe break free for a long one as well, kind of like Tyreek Hill did. But I like the matchup for the passing game of the 49ers this week.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun game to watch. We both like McCaffrey. We both like Garçon. So I'll definitely be.
Yeah, I ended up taking McCaffrey as my first running back and Dalvin Cook as my second. So I'm kind of. You and I went heavy rookies this year, just for the potential and just their roles in their offenses. They're starters. In most cases, when you and I took rookies, we took them because they're starters.
Yeah, that rookie class is looking pretty good. Yep. Let's move on to our next game, one we both are excited for. Eagles at Redskins. Carson Wentz looking to grow on his really good rookie season. Starting in year number 2, do you expect a sophomore slump?
No, I like Carson Wentz this year. I think he's just going to get better. I love the weapons they've got him this year as well. Jordan Matthews is gone, so it opens up a lot of targets for Zach Ertz in the middle. And when Jordan Matthews was out of the lineup, Ertz had considerable uptick in targets and catches and performance. So I like Zach Ertz this week, and I like the addition of Alshon Jeffrey. I mean, definitely's got some weapons. He can throw the ball up for Jeffrey, and Jeffrey's gonna win a lot of jump balls. Jeffrey just has had a problem staying healthy for a season.
Yeah, he's got to work on that, but I'm sure now that he's out of Chicago, he's magically going to be healthy, right?
Yeah, and of course I missed out on picking the Philadelphia defense in the draft, but I love their defense. I think the front seven on the Philadelphia is probably one of the best in the league. I like the Philadelphia Eagles matchup this week against Washington, whose offense, throughout the preseason has struggled. I think what's hurting them is that they don't have good of a running game yet. Rob Kelly's, going to enter the year as a starter, and I think that's a good play. He's good on the goal line, and then, of course, on third down, Chris Thompson will come in. But Kirk Cousins has got good weapons through the air. They just seem to not be in sync. It's Terrell Pryor's first year over here in Washington.
Yeah.
Jamison Crowder a little bit banged up. Jordan Reed, of course, has had his injury problems already this season. I picked the Eagles to win this game. I don't know. What do you think, Joe?
I picked the Eagles as well, but I think it's not quite as close. I think it's probably by, a field or not a touchdown, maybe 10 points. Yeah, that Redskins offense hasn't looked that good, but I think it's going to take them a few weeks to get going.
Yeah, I think it'll be a close game, but I just think the Eagles might have a little bit better defense. I mean, they're under Jim Schwartz. They generate the turnovers, and I just think the turnovers are going to make the difference in this game.
Yep. So let's move on to our next matchup here, and I know it's the game that probably is the game of the week for most people. Seahawks at Packers in Lambeau. Russell Wilson getting his season started in Lambeau. That's a tough task.
Yeah, this is going to be a high-scoring game. I think the over-under is about 51 points.
Wow.
Yeah, so you got to get your guys into the lineup. It'll be a great matchup. Jordy Nelson versus Richard Sherman. Last time Nelson didn't get a lot of yards, but he did end up finding the end zone twice. And of course, you got Devontae Adams and Martellus Bennett also out there. We're going to see how the new improved Tyrone Montgomery looks against that Seattle defense. And I think the Seattle defense is a little banged up. They still have that great secondary.
Yeah.
But I think Tyrone Montgomery will still find some room to run.
I sure hope so. I have him. But
what do you think about Seattle offense? I think they're going to have to throw because Green Bay was really tough to run on last year, and everybody had to throw on him. So I look for Russell Wilson to have a big game if he's on target, locked in.
Yeah, I think Russell's going to throw for over 300 yards in this game, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him rush for 100 either.
Yeah,
I think both quarterbacks in this game are must starts.
Oh yeah, Russell Wilson's a great start this game just because the Packers, nobody could run on them, so they had to throw, and that Seattle run game is kind of a mess. Rawls is banged up; he's been their best runner. Eddie Lacy coming back to Green Bay. I'm not a fan of Eddie Lacy. I like the young kid Chris Carson.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I think C.J. Prosise will get the most action because, he's their pass-catching back. And he appears to be healthy finally. And he looks to get some action, too, in the dump-off from Russell.
Yeah, I think he will.
Yeah, both wideouts. And Jimmy Graham, you've got to like.
Yeah, I'll take any aspect of the passing games. The passing for both sides. I like Seahawks. I like Packers, and then I like Ty Montgomery. But like you said, we'll stay away from the Seahawks run game for now. Just kind of wait and see.
I think that's wise.
Let's move on to our next game. We have a really good defensive matchup in the Raiders at the Titans. A game that you and I are both really excited about. Derek Carr going into Tennessee. Going to be really interesting.
Yeah, I actually think this will be a high-scoring game. Later on in the season, these teams will have pretty good defenses. Right now, Oakland's kind of still trying to find themselves, and then Tennessee also been a little bit off in the preseason, and I think this is going to be a shootout between Mariota and Carr. I like Delaney Walker in this game just because Oakland was the worst team against a tight end last year. So I would recommend starting Delaney Walker in this game, especially. And then, the Mariota and his wideouts should have a pretty good game. You're starting DeMarco Murray, of course, and Marshawn Lynch and Amari Cooper.
I like Eric Decker in this game, too.
Yeah, Eric Decker. This I think this is going to be like one of the higher scoring games. There's just too many good offensive players on both teams.
It's going to be fun to watch. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, both teams are solid at wideout, tight end, and running back. So I think it'll be a high scoring game. They're solid at quarterback too.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
Yeah, this is going to be an offensive game. I don't think it'll be a low scoring game. There's too much offensive firepower. I think it's going to be more like the Patriots and Chiefs game where we had 50, 60 some points.
Yeah, I think that game's going to go over.
Yeah, I do too.
But let's move on to another game that's probably going to be a shootout too. You got the Giants at the Cowboys. Looking like right now Odell Beckham probably going to play because he's lightly practicing yesterday. I don't expect him to sit out of this first game.
Yeah, and Dallas has had some turnover in the secondary. They've got new players back. They don't have Barry Church back there anymore. Their secondary is going to struggle this year, I think, and that's not good when you're facing the Giants because they have a lot of weapons through the air. The Giants cannot run the ball. Dallas has a good run defense. I don't think I wouldn't start any running backs on the Giants other than Shane Vereen in a flex. But I do like the Giants' air attack this week against Dallas. And on the other side, Dallas, you're starting to Zeke Elliott, and I think he should. Giants were tough against the run, so Giants have a really underrated defense.
Yes, they do.
I don't know if I think I took Dallas to still win this game, but I'm just not sure about it. I think the Giants could pull the upset, but I'll give it to the home team this week. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, I edged out. I gave it to the Cowboys just because they're at home. I think it's going to be close, probably by a field goal. Come down to the wire.
Yeah, I think the Giants have beat the Cowboys 4 times in a row now. The Giants are the Cowboys' kryptonite so far, but we'll see how that works out. I think Dallas will break that trend here, but I still think New York has a really good chance to win this game.
Oh yeah, especially if Odell suits up, and look out for Sterling Shepard too. I think he's going to go under the radar in this game a little bit.
Yeah, I do too. Good call.
We like that. But let's move on to another game. Jaguars at Texans. And me and you feel the same about this game. The big superstar must play in this game, Texans defense. Yeah,
absolutely. This game, I really like the Texans to win this one. I just don't think Jacksonville can keep up with. I don't think that Jacksonville's going to struggle to put points on the board. Jacksonville's a good defense too. I just think Houston. I think they'll be able to move the ball, and their home team. They're fired up after the hurricane. It's a home opener. They have a great defense with J.J. Watt and Jadeveon Clowney. This was one of my higher picks of the week. I like Houston in this one.
Oh, yeah. And on the Jaguars side of the ball, you got Leonard Fournette, who, if you have him, you're probably going to start him because he was a high pick. But tough task going against the Texans in your first ever NFL game. But the other thing I would start on the Jaguars is the Jags defense. I think they're a pretty solid start this week, too. That Texans offense is good, but with Tom Savage, he's kind of, he's able to turn over the ball with some bad decisions every once in a while.
Yeah, if you have the Jacksonville defense, that's a good call too. I think this will be a low-scoring game. I don't think. I think both teams are going to struggle to put points on the board. I just like Houston a little bit more this year.
Well, their defense is really good, so that's part of it. But yeah, let's move into a game that's probably more about offense than it is defense, and it's the Saints at Vikings. The Vikings have a good defense, but this game is about that Saints offense and Adrian Peterson going back to Minnesota.
Yeah, and I expect Adrian Peterson to get the ball a little more than he might normally get. Just because it is kind of a revenge game, and Sean Payton will probably want to, give his veteran a crack at his old team. So I kind of like Adrian Peterson. This game is, Minnesota's got a great defense. That's their whole bread and butter based on the defense. And New Orleans defense is middle of the road, although they're improving. Without Willie Snead, though, the offense might struggle a little bit.
Yeah, I think that and because of that suspension to Willie Snead, I think Ted Ginn's probably going to have a big role in this game. Probably working out of the slot, I would imagine. But I like Ted Ginn Jr. in this game. I think he's going to go under the radar. And then I think Kobe Fleener is also a sneaky play because Drew Brees is going to need to check down to the tight end in this game.
Yeah, I do too. It's just Minnesota's tough against a tight end, but I also like Fleener in this game. You can only take away so many guys, and I know that they're going to probably play a safety over the top of Michael Thomas. Try and bracket him, take him away. That's why your Ted Ginn's a good call. I'm also anxious to see what Dalvin Cook is all about. I think he'll have a chance to contribute in both the run and the pass game.
Yep.
And the wideouts in Minnesota are both decent plays.
Yeah, I like both those guys, and I expect Michael Thomas to have a rough time this week against those quality corners of the Vikings. But I like Michael Thomas this year, just not this week.
Right, and I still like the Minnesota defense call this week. I think it's a good call at home. I'm not sure Breeze and Saints will put up as many points as people like. And I also like Kyle Rudolph in the middle and on the goal line.
And along with that, I'm interested to see how the split goes between Mark Ingram and Adrian Peterson too.
Yeah, if you own one or both of those guys, this is a good game to take a look at.
Yeah, like we said, we think Peterson will get more carries this week, but I doubt that'll be the norm throughout the season.
Yeah. Yep, I agree.
Let's move into our next game, and the Cardinals at Lions. We both like Carson Palmer in this game to probably get close to 300 yards, and I think probably 2 or 3 touchdowns. What do you think, John?
I do too. I think Detroit has struggled on defense this year in the preseason. Arizona has as well. Arizona cannot stop the run this preseason. So last season, Amir Abdullah opened the season with a 100-yard game and a touchdown. So I kind of like that Amir Abdullah play. I think Theo Riddick is also a good play. But the Cardinals wideouts, I think, will have plenty of action this week.
Yeah, I think this is another high-scoring game, John. What do you think?
Yeah, I do too. I think both teams, defense are struggling. So yeah, this is going to be a more of an offensive game than defensive game. I like. I picked the Lions to win. I picked the Cardinals to win, but I think the Cardinals are going to have a hard time actually pulling this one out.
Yeah, this one's it's gonna be a barn burner. I don't expect too much defense at all. It might be one of those who's the last team to have the ball might win the game.
Yeah, I lost you there for a second.
Oh, that's all right. I was just saying I think the last team to have the ball probably wins this game.
Yeah, definitely. I think so too. I think it'll come down to the last drive.
Let's move into our next matchup. It's a rivalry game that's probably going to be closer than we think in the Steelers at Browns.
Yeah, I like the Steelers in this one. I think that the Browns, while they're improving, they're still a young team. They traded Joe Hayden they cut Joe Hayden. He signed with the Steelers. So
yeah,
the passing game's going to have a little bit of a tougher time now that the Steelers' defense has really improved this year. I still think Cleveland will be able to put points up this week against the Steelers, but the Steelers just have too many weapons. There's just too many guys.
Yeah, and I look for T.J. Watt to have a nice game here, probably get 1 or 2 sacks and kind of a big coming out party.
Oh yeah, good pass rush now for the Steelers. Deshaun Kaiser's going to be prone to making those rookie mistakes. Well, I like the kid. He's been cool, and really poised in the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Throws a nice deep ball. I just don't see those wideouts on Cleveland getting loose against that really good Pittsburgh secondary.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think they're gonna have to run the ball with Isaiah Crowell. That's why I think he's a good play this week.
Yeah, I do too. Cleveland is at home. I think Isaiah Crowell is going to get some action, and if Kaiser struggles finding guys, pushing the ball down the field, I think he will, go to his tight end and his running back and to Duke Johnson. It'd be nice to see what David Njoku is all about too. Hopefully, he gets some action.
Yeah, I think we're gonna find out real quick how his chemistry is with Deshaun Kaiser. He's the guy we like going forward. Obviously not right away. I think he's a tough guy to start right off the bat, but he could easily develop into a top 10 tight end.
Yeah, absolutely. Cleveland is a young team. They've made a lot of good moves, I think. Like I said, they had like 100 draft picks in the last draft, so they've got some players, both young players on defense and offense. I think in a year or two, you'll probably be talking about Cleveland as a playoff team if Kaiser can develop.
Oh, 100%. And on the Steelers side of the ball, I mean, we don't need to tell anybody to start the killer bees.
Yep.
You got Big Ben, you got Antonio Brown, you got Bell, and then you have Martavis Bryant. All those guys, I think, are must-starts.
Yeah, Roethlisberger on the road is always a question mark. We talked about that before. I actually kind of like Roethlisberger in this game because he hasn't done too bad in Cleveland. Maybe it's just because they haven't been very good, but I think this game he'll have the opportunity to actually have a decent fantasy play.
I agree with you 100%. We both love the Steelers in this game, obviously. Yep. But let's move on to another matchup that I'm kind of having a hard time picking, and Chargers at Broncos. I mean, we love Phillip Rivers, but that secondary in Denver is really tough.
Yeah, a low-scoring game here, I think. And Chargers, I think, they have a really good offense. It's a great defense. And then a really poor offense with Denver, and they're going against an up-and-coming defense on San Diego. And that's really kind of where the two problems exist with finding good offense. But I took Denver to win this game just because they're at home and the defense is still great there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is a game that could go either way.
Yeah, it's a toss of a coin. I took Denver just because they're at home, but besides that, I had a hard time picking this game. The Denver side of the ball, I mean, obviously you're starting the Broncos defense, but
yeah.
I think there's only three guys you're really looking at starting. I think on Denver's side of the ball, I mean, you got Emmanuel Sanders, Demaryius Thomas, and then you got C.J. Anderson. And after that, I'm not touching anybody else.
Those are three good starts right there. Those three players are good starts. Monday night, I think Denver's passing defense is really good. So, but they struggled against the run last year. So I think Melvin Gordon will have a good game, and you drafted Melvin Gordon in the first round, so you want to roll him out here, and I think you can confidently play Melvin Gordon against the Denver run defense. It's just the pass is going to struggle against that Denver secondary pass rush.
Yeah, Melvin Gordon's going to be a great play this whole season. I think he's a must start every week as long as he's healthy. But
yeah. If you're thinking about not starting him this week, don't do that. I still throw him in there. Denver just struggled against the run last year. I think Melvin Gordon will be just fine here.
Oh, yeah. I still expect at least 15, 20 fantasy points. So
yeah, exactly.
You can't go wrong with
He's
that.
He's going to touch the ball 25 times. So.
And that's what you want. I mean, you can't ask for anything more than that.
Exactly.
Let's move on to our hometown Bears. The Bears are home this weekend against the NFC champion Atlanta Falcons. I think the Bears are in trouble, John.
Yeah, I took Atlanta to win this game, and I love the Atlanta defensive start against Mike Glennon. He's, I think he's thrown a couple pick sixes in the preseason. He's just, it's a nervous game probably for him. This is his first time as a starter since 2014, and with all the pressure of having Mitch Trubisky, the number 2 overall pick in last year's draft, sitting behind him, looking over his shoulder. I just, the too many injuries on Chicago's offense. The loss of Cam Meredith was hard, but I think if the Bears are going to have any chance of winning, they're going to run right at that pass rush with Jordan Howard and Tariq Cohen. They're going to use Zach Miller, and they're going to hit the short passes of Kendall Wright and Kevin White. But Atlanta offense is really powerful. I think Chicago will shut down the run pretty well, unless they really start falling behind and get tired. But both the backs of Atlanta are really good out of the backfield catching the ball.
Yes, they are. I like everybody on that Atlanta offense. I think Matt Ryan's a top 5 play this week. Obviously, Julio Jones might be the top start this week against that Bears secondary. Mohamed Sanu, I even like Mohamed Sanu this week.
I do too. The Bears' number 1 cornerback is out this week, Prince Amukamara. It just doesn't look good for the Bears. There are too many injuries. But the Chicago Bear defense, like I said, I think will be better than a lot of people think. And in the preseason, they shut down teams' running games. So yep. I think they'll continue to shut down the run on teams. A lot like Green Bay. With that 3-4 defense. People just couldn't run on Green Bay. They're going to pass. So you're absolutely right. Matt Ryan and the wideouts. I think they'll have a big game today. Even the backs out of the backfield. I think Matt Ryan's going to have 300 yards.
Yeah, and I think Austin Hooper is also kind of a sneaky play this week as well. Getting the check down from Matt Ryan, he could be a quality option going forward.
Yeah, had a good Super Bowl, and that really looked like arrow pointing up. So we'll see. I'm kind of waiting to see on him. I looked at him in the draft. Not sure anybody drafted him in our league, but definitely a player to watch if you're looking for tight end help.
Yeah, keep the radar on Austin Hooper. Could get real interesting halfway through this season, maybe before that. But let's move into the last of. We got 2 more games to go through. We got the Ravens at the Cincinnati Bengals. This one's kind of a hard one for me to call, John. Joe Flacco making his debut. Andy Dalton playing his first game at home after the disappointing end of the season last year. I don't even know how to pick this game. I think I took the Ravens just because no one has seen Flacco yet.
Yeah, I don't think there's a team, and other than the team we're going to talk about next. But the Baltimore team, I don't think there's another team out there that we don't know that much about. We just don't know anything about the Ravens. What are they going to be? What are they going to do? You have some aging wideouts on the outside. You have an injured quarterback coming back. They threw the ball more than any other team last year. They're banged up at running back. I think Danny Woodhead is banged up. They still have Terrence West. Their most talented running back is suspended. It's kind of a mess. They lost Dennis Pitta, tight end. I just think Baltimore's kind of I think this game is going to be kind of like a practice game for them. I think Cincinnati's going to come out on top, although you never know. I like Cincinnati's running game, and I like their wideouts. Their offensive line is a bit porous against the pass rush.
Yeah.
Andy Dalton may, struggle against that Baltimore pass rush because they really have some good pass rushers.
Yeah, they do, and I think Brandon LaFell could be a sneaky play this week against that pass rush because a lot of times Brandon LaFell succeeds with the quick pass, either the quick pass or the deep ball, and I think he's going to catch some quick passes this week.
Yeah, and he's great. He's great in the red zone. He just seems to always be open down there, and had like a half dozen touchdowns last year. Did the same thing when he was in New England. Has trouble with the drops, but this season looks a little bit more sure-handed. I'm interested in finding out what Joe Mixon is all about. I think he's the most talented back in Cincinnati. I think before long you're going to forget all about Jeremy Hill. Of course, you have Gio Bernard coming in on third down, and he's really excellent too. Catching the ball, 2-minute drill and third downs. But Joe Mixon, man, I really want to see what he's all about.
Well, I think we'll get a good chance to check it out on Sunday. Let's move into our final matchup of the week in the Colts visiting the Rams. Andrew Luck not playing in this game. Scott Tolzien getting the start. I don't think the Colts have any shot in this game.
Yeah, this one's kind of my lock of the week. I like the Rams in this one, even though Aaron Donald, I think, is holding out.
Yes, he is.
Is that okay? So, yeah, that hurts Atlanta or the Los Angeles Rams, but I just don't see any way the Colts win this game. They have an offensive line that was bad last year. They didn't do much to improve it this year. Frank Gore's another year older. Andrew Luck is, we don't know anything about him, whether he's coming back or not. I think he was drafted to the 10th round in our league. Just somebody who already had a quarterback. And, actually, I think the guy in our league who took Luck had Jameis Winston also. So I don't know what he was thinking because he had to go out and find another quarterback this week to start. So he's got like a temporary quarterback this week.
Yep. Yeah, he's stuck up. He I don't know if he even picked somebody up. I got to go look, but
I think he picked up Sam Bradford, but would have been great to pick up Alex Smith.
Yeah,
because he was out there.
That would have worked out okay.
Yeah, I kind of wish I picked up Alex Smith and started him this week, but you and I didn't know what Kansas City was going to be this year. We kind of were looking at the exciting things going on in Oakland and Los Angeles Chargers. And Kansas City is still going to be the team to beat, like we said.
Yeah, they're looking really good. And
who do you like on that Rams offense?
I mean, I think Todd Gurley is probably the top start in all of fantasy this week. I think he might just destroy this Colts team. I expect him to catch some balls out of the backfield, and I also expect him to rush for well over 100 yards, possibly 2, maybe 3 touchdowns.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is a great week to start Todd Gurley. This is, last year after that bad year he had, this is the game that Todd Gurley says, hey, I'm still here. I think you're right. I think he's going to go over 100 yards and have a touchdown and do some damage out of the backfield.
And I also like this week. I know I'm probably in the minority, but I think Sammy Watkins could probably have a good game too.
I do too. And I'll tell you why, because Vontae Davis is out with injury, and he's the Colts' top cornerback. So I think Sammy Watkins is going to have plenty of room out there. Just hopefully Jared Goff can get him the ball. That's the only question mark.
Yeah, it is, and we'll find out real quick how Goff's looking. Preseason, he didn't look super great, but the regular season, maybe this is his year to finally put it all together.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, he was the number 1 overall pick last year. He struggled. Of course, he's a rookie, so and then they bolstered his receiving group. So he's got some targets now. He's got Sammy Watkins and Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp's a little bit banged up this week, but they still have, I think, Robert Woods on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
So I like Sammy Watkins in this game.
Yeah, I think the Colts are going to get smoked.
Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna win. You never know. I mean, there's question marks on both sides, but I like the Rams at home and their home opener in a new stadium. The defense is still good. They're missing their best piece of the defense, unfortunately, for Los Angeles. But I just, like I said, the 2 teams we know the least about are Baltimore and Indianapolis.
Yeah, I mean,
so I just don't know enough about them to really make a great decision on them.
Yeah, and the only guy I would even remotely think about starting on the Colts is T.Y. Hilton, and that's even a question mark for me. Yeah,
and I think you can confidently start Jack Doyle if he's your only tight end.
Yeah, that too.
Tolzien, I think when Luck was out a couple of games, I think he targeted Doyle, more than usual. So I think Jack Doyle could get you like 5 catches as a good floor.
Yeah.
And that game is that game Monday night too?
I believe it is. I think it's part of the doubleheader.
So that's like the appetizer before the big game, the Chargers and Broncos. But that game doesn't. I mean, the Rams and Colts doesn't excite me too much, other than watching Todd Gurley break out. And I just think the better game is going to be Chargers and Broncos.
Oh yeah. Oh, you know what? This game. Never mind. That game is not Monday night.
Okay, it's Saints and Vikings, isn't it?
Yeah, Saints, Vikings, Chargers, Broncos.
Okay.
So that's really solid right there.
So yeah, two excellent games. Yeah, that's great.
Monday night's gonna be a fun one, John.
Yeah, Monday night's gonna be fun then. I like that Saints Vikings matchup.
When we got through all the matchups, and this time I'm gonna save this.
How about, does the fantasy football goon have any waiver wire targets this week? I can give you one if you don't have any.
Well, I think I have one in Benjamin Watson because he's kind of flying under the radar at tight end. If you need somebody, I expect Flacco to target him a lot this week.
Yeah, that's a great call.
People are forgetting.
I didn't even think of that one. That's a great call.
Yeah, people are forgetting about Benjamin Watson.
Yep. Yeah, my waiver target is Paul Richardson on the Seahawks. I like him against that Packers secondary. The cornerbacks on the Packers allowed some of the most fantasy points against opposing wideouts last season. I just you know how everybody passes on Green Bay because they can't run. So
right.
I really like the Seattle wideouts this weekend. I think if you're looking for wideout help, maybe you got too many wideouts on Miami or Tampa Bay in your lineup or on your bench. You need a good quality wideout. I think you could do pretty good with Paul Richardson. He's a good deep threat.
Yeah, he's probably going to score against Green Bay. I would not be surprised to see him score a touchdown.
Yeah, the other one I think would be Marquise Goodwin on San Francisco. I think could have a big day against the slow Carolina cornerbacks. Just susceptible to the speedy wideouts. So those are two targets. I think if you're looking for help or even long term this season, a couple of those guys. They're both starting wideouts.
Mm-hmm.
They're number 2 wideouts on their team. And those guys are trotted out there every down. So, like you said, Benjamin Watson is a starting tight end. Last year Dennis Pitta had the most targets of any tight end in Baltimore, and Flacco coming back. That's a great call. I think he's going to be looking for his tight end. And hopefully Watson's there against the Bengals defense.
Yeah, especially if you're playing daily fantasy like DraftKings or FanDuel, I think Benjamin Watson. If you need somebody at tight end, he's going to be real cheap, and he's probably going to outperform his cost.
Oh yeah, he's probably like $1,000, right? On DraftKings.
He's probably gonna be real cheap.
yeah. I forget one of them's like thousands of dollars, and the other one's just like regular dollars, right? I never always forget which one is which, but
yeah,
I think DraftKings is the thousands one, right? And FanDuel is like the 50 and 10 and 5. Is that right?
It depends on the contest. Okay.
No, I mean like the price of the players.
I think they're all in thousands now.
Are they? Okay, they're all in thousands now. Okay, I seem to remember last year, like a difference between the two, but I still play. I just don't play that often, and I usually just like the $5 games or free games.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, Benjamin Watson on FanDuel is going for $4,900.
Yeah. I suppose I should probably try and get back into daily fantasy a little bit more this season. I'll try and give it a try this season.
Well, there's a lot of free contests this week, so that's a good way to get started because you can win a few bucks to keep playing.
Yeah, okay. I'll give it a look.
Well, we got through all the games, John. We did it, and we did it quicker than we did yesterday. So I'm going to save this as soon as we finish. So thanks as always for joining me, bud.
Yeah, anytime.
And we'll see all you guys on the gridiron, and we'll chat early next week and see what happened on Sunday.
Yeah, all right, Joe. I'll talk to you later, buddy.
Remember to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at FFBGoon, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And make sure you visit us at fantasyfootballgoon.com. We answer all questions all season long. See you guys next week.